Hey, hey fans, this is B Poppin', man. I'm trying to stay away from my main cow, but he keep on finding me. You are watching Cap Sport.
Great.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome once again to the Video Sports page along with Rich Goulart. I'm your host, Carl Pratt. Welcome to edition number 1192. Lots and lots of stops this past week with our video camera. We've got high school hockey. We're going to talk to a high school hockey coach. We're going to show you some highlights of an undefeated girls basketball team. We're going to show you some youth basketball, some youth hockey. And before we say goodnight tonight, we're going to check in on another championship for Plymouth South as far as high school wrestling is concerned. They're third in a row and 13th since they opened the doors several years ago. But right off the top, let's talk about our very first subject, and we're going to talk about travel basketball, action that takes place at the Kingston Youth Center, or Sports Center in this case. And it actually involved Plymouth's travel team coming from the West Plymouth League. Plymouth is in the dark blue uniforms and coming at you. Plymouth, under the direction of Chris Pratt, came up with an impressive late-game victory here, knocking off Duxbury. With the victory, Plymouth is now 7-1 on the season. They went up against Duxbury, who's under the direction of Craig Drolette. Pretty good action here for a 5th grade division basketball game. Duxbury now on offense. Let's get some of the natural sound from the Kingston Sports Center. Okay, once again, what you saw was 5th grade travel basketball. Plymouth with a victory in the last second going up against Duxbury, and those teams all part of a very successful travel league that takes place at the Kingston Sports Center. Well, now we're going to turn our focus to another Duxbury team, but this time it's the girls varsity basketball team, and they went up against a very good North Quincy team earlier this week. Now, Duxbury actually trailed in this game 27-17. They battled back to make it close at the end of 3 quarters, and they eked out a 49-41 victory at home. And with that victory, Duxbury has now picked up its 11th victory of the season. Duxbury in the white uniforms here at home. You can see all the banners on the walls in Duxbury's gymnasium, indicating one of the most successful sports programs, not only on the South Shore, but throughout the state. Now, Duxbury got a strong performance in this game from Maddie Foote and Emma Gill. They led the way for the Duxbury Green Dragons against a very good North Quincy team. Let's get some of the natural sound. By the way, North Quincy, with that loss, they're now 9-3 on the season, 7-1 in their division as part of the Patriot League. Now let's get some of the natural sound as Duxbury battles North Quincy. Well, that's certainly an outstanding basketball team over in Duxbury, and they'll continue with their quest for an undefeated record. They'll be back in action on Friday. Well, on Wednesday night, the Plymouth South hockey team played host to Falmouth. That's always a great matchup. Coach Mike McCosh has a very young hockey team, and they're off to a flying start, which has the coach really smiling. Unfortunately for us, we caught the Plymouth South Panthers after just their second loss of the season. Falmouth had 2 players that had a hat trick and defeated Plymouth South at home by a score of 7-4. Let's take this opportunity, if we can, to roll an interview I had with head coach Mike McCosh following the matchup. Okay, let's continue with this week's edition of the Video Sports Page. So oftentimes you hear in sports, timing is everything. The Plymouth South Panthers have had a great first half of the schedule. As timing would have it with Cap Sports, we try to catch up with Coach Mike McCosh on the heels of a frustrating 7-4 loss at home, but your kids have had a fine season to this point.
Yeah, you know, this game was a tough game, but you know, my kids were down 5-0. We battled back, and I believed in them. And this is a team that can battle. And you know, this is the first time we've been scored on like that. But we were never out of the game. I'm proud of them.
Is there a positive you can take out of a game like this? There's so much hockey to take place for the rest of the season to say to the kids, okay, we came in with just one loss and one tie. This is a little bit of a wake-up call. We've got to come to play every night.
Yeah, it's definitely. We will definitely take something out of this. What needs to be known is that, you know, this team was never out of that game. You know, people might have left the game when it was 5-0, and we made a game of it. And I'm proud of my boys for coming back.
Well, let's talk, if we can. Oftentimes, so many times in the past, you've had outstanding hockey seasons coaching the Panthers. Where's this particular group of hockey players rank for you? I mean, have these kids surpassed your expectations to this point?
Well, I can tell you this. In the past, we've always had those one or two guys that always got the goals, and we'd always key on that. This year, I have 15 kids on that roster that have scored a goal in a game, and it's not just one line, first line, a second line, a third line. It's everybody. It's the defense. It's the goalie. It's the forwards. There's really no first, or second, or third line, and I've never had a team like that. I've always had a team where I've always had one main line, and this is just it's exciting.
All right, so what do you say to the kids when you go into the locker room? Obviously, they're frustrated. They've tasted victory so many times this year, with the exception of the Marshfield game and one other tie.
Yeah, they're focused. This team is focused on just grinding it out, and always going to the net, always trying to win the little battles, and they're doing it. They're pretty much staying out of the penalty box. They're playing discipline, and they're playing with heart. And it's fun to coach. It's fun to coach.
Well, it's nice to hear the positive ring come from veteran coach Mike McCosh on the heels of a frustrating loss here at home at the Armstrong Rink to a very good Falmouth team. It's so interesting. You play a team twice in the season, and you see a different team each night out. You beat them 3-0 first time around.
Yeah, we knew Falmouth. We knew Falmouth was going to come to play, and they took it to us in the first period. They just dominated us, and we came back, which was good. Falmouth's a heck of a team. They're a really good team.
Well, let's back up that clock. You mentioned a few moments ago, for people just joining us on the show, you were down 5-0 on the bench, I should say. As a coach, you're probably scratching your head saying, wow, what the heck's going on here? But that never say die attitude came to the fore for your club.
It did. It came to the floor. And, after they got that first goal, they were really excited. We got the second one, and and the third, and it's exciting. It's exciting, Carl.
All right, let me ask you about this team here. Your expectations when you first got together right after Thanksgiving, and what you know now about this team.
Well, if you told me we were one tie away at this point, making the tournament, I might have said, I don't know, that's kind of far stretch. And this team. I've never had a team that went undefeated in December. They went undefeated in December, and they're close to clinching before February. And never had a team that's clinched a tournament berth. And hopefully we can take care of that Friday night.
Well, obviously we keep hearing the word team from Coach Mike McCosh. How about one or two players, three players that are leading your team that you said, hey, I need some leadership on this club, and you're getting it?
Carl, I'd love to tell you about 2 or 3 or 4 of my players, but I'd have to sit here for hours and talk to you about my entire team. But I will tell you, it starts from my goaltending out to my defense, and my goaltending and defense really for most of the year has just been absolutely phenomenal.
All right, well, this is certainly like the Patriots when they came out for the Super Bowl. They didn't introduce everybody individually. It was a team, and that seems to be the same adage veteran coach Mike McCosh is using. So before I let you sneak away, people see this program on a Thursday night. You got back-to-back games, Friday against Old Rochester, on Saturday against Sacred Heart, 2 non-league games. How important are those two for you to bounce back?
That's extremely important. Friday night is important, and they will bring it, and it's 6:30, and we are going to bring it.
All right, Plymouth South will go up against Old Rochester, and then Sacred Heart over at the Bug. How about just a quick word about Sacred Heart, because you appreciate young high school athletes, programs maturing. Sacred Heart isn't the stepsister anymore.
No, Sacred Heart is going to surprise a lot of teams, and they already have. And, when we played them last year, I actually made a point of stopping in that locker room and letting them know what a great program they have. They're well coached, they're well disciplined, and it's a great program.
Well, listen, we appreciate your time as always. Keep it rolling with the Panthers, and hopefully the next time we talk, that tournament berth will be behind you.
Absolutely.
All right, you bet. Mike McCosh joining us during this week's edition of the Video Sports Page. Okay, we have an opportunity now to talk a little bit about the game that followed the Plymouth South game. It was the Plymouth North Eagles against Dennis Yarmouth. They battled to a 4-4 tie first time around the schedule, but this was a rough start for Plymouth North on Wednesday night. They actually trailed quickly 1-0 after 9 seconds. They trailed 2-0 after just the first minute went by in the hockey game. They trailed 4-0 after the first 4 minutes. Final score was 5-0. They lose to visiting Dennis Yarmouth. Let's pick up some of the action and show you the Plymouth North Eagles against Dennis Yarmouth from the Armstrong Rink. Okay, the Plymouth North Eagles will be back in Atlantic Coast League hockey action this coming weekend trying to rebound. Now, this is one team that's been decimated by injuries. No coach likes to use that as an excuse, but it certainly is a fact, and it certainly applies for the Plymouth North hockey program with a bunch of injuries this year, and they'd like to bounce back. Well, our next subject is youth hockey. More specifically, we're talking about the Pee Wee A team from Plymouth. This past weekend, they had an exhibition up in Cambridge as they went up against Rockland. This team is under the direction of head coach Brian Hilton. Let's call on Rich Goulart to show you some Pee Wee A youth hockey. Okay, just a quick note as far as that youth hockey is concerned. You can see that game, Plymouth against Rockland, in its entirety Saturday night on this cable system starting at 9 o'clock. So catch those youngsters. It's a good hour of rough and tumble hockey, if you will. Not really, though. No fighting, no boarding, no roughing. Just good hockey by these youngsters who are ages 11 and 12. Well, let's turn our focus now to the Plymouth South Wrestling program. And a quick note about the Panthers, who defeated the Plymouth North Eagles 42-21 on Wednesday night. With that victory, Plymouth South is now 12-3. Plymouth North is 10-4. It's in another Atlantic Coast League championship for Plymouth South. Their third in a row and their 13th since they opened the doors. How do we know all that? Our good friend Dave Walcott from the Old Colony Memorial filled us in with all the details. We appreciate his efforts, his concern for high school sports, and helping out the video sports page. Our good friend Dave Walcott filling us in. Well, now let's call on Rich Goulart as we take a look at the next to the last match that took place earlier this week, as we see Brendan Hardy come up with a pin here for Plymouth South.
Fired up. Tuck that in. Yep, here's the body of the cradle.
Wish I could wrestle.
Go, B.
Yeah.
I get it done.
Okay, Plymouth North against Plymouth South. South wins it by a score of 42-21 in another Atlantic Coast League championship. Well, we're just about out of time. We'd like to thank you for yours, and a big thank you goes out to Rich Goulart. He put it all together for us, edition number 1192. I've been your host, Carl Pratt. Health and wisdom from the Video Sports page.